If you are going to be successful in business, if you are going to be successful in career, you must get to a place where you can see the people you serve and love them, where you can see the people who work for you and love them. You cannot successfully work under somebody and prosper except and until you love them. The whole thing now is that if they are not paying you well, they don't regard you. But if you do not love the people that you're working with, work on loving them. It's a commandment, it's an instruction, it's something that you have to do. Loving does not refer to when somebody does something that you like, the feeling you have towards that person. That's liking the person. Loving is a higher call that transcends someone's behavior, and it is learned, and it is always a work in progress. So when you are loving somebody, there are inconveniences. Choose this day whom you will work with. Choose whom you will serve. You are the one who gets to look at an organization and say, I want to work with these people. You are the one who gets to look at a group of staff and say, you come work with me. The moment you have made that transaction, the moment you have joined that group of company, or you've allowed that young man or young woman to come join your company, start loving them. Because if you don't love them, both you and them are headed downhill. You can't work well with them. Your work will not yield the right fruit. It was not for nothing that Jesus said, after the first commandment, the second one is love your neighbor. If you love your neighbor, you will give good products. If you love your neighbor, you will give good service. If you love your neighbor, you will pay them well. And so it's important that when you see the customers that you are supposed to give services, you think, how do I love on these people? By giving them the best services that makes the product they are paying for the best. And if I'm going to give them the best services, that means I have to charge them well. You are not charging them well just so that you can suffer them. It's so that you can bring the right product. You can bring them the right value because you love them. If it is not coming from that place of love, then it's extortion. Also, how do I make sure that I price well so that I can pay the people who work with me well? And for you who are working with somebody, how do I make sure that I give premium service to this person who has paid for a certain level of value? That's how the love triangle works. It is the highest commandment. It is the thing that makes you succeed. I keep telling people, inside every commandment are ingredients to prosper you. There is no commandment that does not have you, the obedient one to that commandment, that does not have you at heart. And so when you think about the highest thing God could ever command you to do, after loving Him, is that you love your neighbor, love your customer, love your boss, love the people who work with you, love your spouse. That goes without saying. But that obsession with someone else, understanding love from a position of having loved yourself. So it's important that you get to love yourself. It's important that you understand the place of loving yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't give love. That is a fact. And so you see that people who are very hungry, they got very little love for somebody else. People have been hungry enough to eat their own offspring. And so once you go that low, you are unable to give love. So love yourself. Strive to become somebody who knows value, who gives value, who receives value. And then you want to, from that place of having loved yourself, start reaching out to the people around you. Think about all those people that are your neighbors at the workplace, your neighbors at home, right? And start intentionally, obsessively even, beginning to love them and see how that sets you apart as the staff, how that sets you apart as a partner, as a business person, as a boss. That is one of the commandments we need to start looking at. It's the highest after all.